Hello kiddos and happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I am ready to start our last week or our second week of full remote learning. We are going to continue with our poetry unit, and today we are going to wrap up our study of A Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. Now's your opportunity to show me that you have in fact learned how to analyze this poem. And so what I'm going to do in this video is put up a line or possibly two lines together on the video screen, and then in Edpuzzle I'm going to pause it and I want you to summarize or paraphrase. That means in your own words, tell me, what do those lines mean? What is Langston Hughes saying about a dream that is postponed or abandoned in those two lines? Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust over in sugar like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? If I were to take all of the responses that you just wrote for each of those lines, basically what you did is you told me what Langston Hughes's message was about the deferment of dreams. And if I were to chunk those together into a little mini paragraph, that was your poem analysis and the overall message of the poem. So we just broke that down into pieces for you. All right, here's where things get kind of interesting. So all along we've called this poem A Dream Deferred, but interesting fact, Langston Hughes also published it under a different title. Same poem, different title, titled Harlem. I want you to think back to the video where I gave you like the 3-minute rundown of Harlem and how African American people left the South and the only land that they ever knew and the only thing that was familiar to them in the hopes of having a better life. And they were following this dream of having jobs and being treated as citizens and being respected. So again, they have this dream in their head of this life that they are going to have the opportunity to live. The African Americans were in Harlem, and when World War II began, a lot of soldiers went off to war, which left a lot of open job opportunities for people that possibly didn't have those opportunities before. So African Americans really stepped up to the plate and they really helped out with the efforts of the war. And when the war ended and our men came home from the war, the white men wanted those jobs. This caused a lot of tension. This kind of marks the beginning of the civil rights movement, and politicians began talking about the efforts that or the contributions that the Black citizens had made toward the advancement of our country. In addition, many of these Black Americans actually helped fight in World War II in the different Black units that were available. So again, the white men were angry and they wanted their jobs back. It wasn't well liked, the advancement that the Black Americans had made, and there became a huge backlash at these civil rights movements. And at that time, there was quite a large expansion of the KKK. All of those events in the past boil down to a dream being deferred. What happens when a group of people lose hope of a dream of having equality and freedom, and who have been discriminated against on the basis of the color of their skin year after year after year? I believe Langston Hughes is asking, what happens when these African Americans stop asking, when will this dream be fulfilled? And what will happen when it doesn't get fulfilled? Okay, let's push it even further. Politically speaking, we've talked about what's happened in the past, but what if we brought this to today? What if we brought it to the events of the coup that was formed to take over our Capitol building? I believe that there was this dream or a goal of something that would be achieved or fulfilled. And when they lost hope in that or were frustrated by the delay in that, they took action. So I want you to think back to the stanzas in the poem and see if you can find where the reaction of that group of people connects some way into this poem of a dream being deferred. Okay, we're going to move forward now. I have another poem for you by Langston Hughes, and we aren't going to spend as much time on it, but I am going to play a poem called Mother to Son that Langston Hughes wrote during the Harlem Renaissance. Once you're finished with the poem, I want you to think about it for a while, and then I'm going to allow you the opportunity to share what you think that this poem may mean. And sometimes different people can interpret different things out of a poem. So don't hold back or be insecure or think that maybe you're wrong, because you may see a poem, it may mean something to you in a certain way, and it may inspire and mean something else to somebody else that reads it. So we all make different connections. So here is Mother to Son by Langston Hughes.
Mother to Son. Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. There. But all the time, I've been a-climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark, where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set on the steps, 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now. For I's still going, honey. I's still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair.